I like how the record button's on the top of the camera instead of the back.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, is it comfortable, like, with your thumb, like, doing it on the top?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm so used to, like, just having it there, like, holding it, then pressing it instead of, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to the 7.3.
No, yeah, I do prefer that. Bro, this little thing here, it's crazy too.
What is it?
That's a G7X Mark III.
What's so good? It's like a vlog camera, no?
It does vlog, but the pictures are great. Like since I'm trying to be on a budget, I don't want to take like
Yeah, show that.
okay,
Show that you're trying to be on a budget.
bro. Budget. There's a red right here. I don't know if you can see that, but
just pick it up.
bro, it's like
flex
fucking
flex on them.
You go. That's a red right there, bro. But no, when I mean like on a budget, it's like I don't ever want to like damage anything because you never know what could happen outside. So like let's say you only have the A7 III for now. Like imagine you want to go out and hang out with your friends and you take pictures and you drop it. Now you don't have a camera for work.
Yeah.
So I just got like a little cheap G7X Mark III. So whenever I go out, I use that to take pictures and stuff. And funny enough, I actually used that on my my recent project for New York. That little camera, I used it for something.
Like behind the scenes or personal?
No,
stuff?
on the actual event footage that I did.
What
You know
did you
the scene where like it shows like all the chicks like smiling at the camera, and it's like it goes into like that scene.
Were they hugging or no?
No, it was in the beginning. Like when have you seen the video?
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, when the photographer goes like that, and then it like goes like frames of pictures. It was in the very beginning.
You would have to show me.
Yeah, bro. That's all
I'm
good,
sorry.
bro. You're all good, bro. Here, let me show you.
And that film's at 4K?
4K. So, we'll show it right now. That's with the little camera. Yeah.
Also, this is only for photos.
It does video too, but personally, I just like it because it has a little flash, and then I could like have that like vibe of like the old fashioned like this stuff.
What is the flash? It comes right here?
Yeah, it's a little button. But I get the vibes from like this, like film.
I've never been a photographer, so I never really had like that passion on like taking photos with digital. I mean, what is that? Film?
What?
Like with film?
Oh yeah, that's film.
I never really cared for like photos. But that's how it started though. That's how I started taking photos.
I recommend if you're getting into videography to kind of understand the basics of like photography as well. So one of the things that I actually realized back when I was in college, and like I dropped out like years ago, and so whenever I used to walk around campus, I used to have a little like point and shoot film camera. And here's the thing, like the way you think when you take pictures with that versus like an electronic camera is different, because like every roll costs money, like it costs to do it. So then you take the time to kind of frame up the picture. You take the time to like make sure the exposure is good and all that.
Yeah.
And funny enough, a lot of the stuff that I learned from there, composition and lighting, I use it into videography. One of the things that I've noticed is with like a lot of famous filmmakers, like you see like a frame that they shoot and it looks real, but it looks unrealistic at the same time. It looks so beautiful in a movie. And then you're like, how can I do that? You have to understand the fundamentals of like lighting, composition, and like all these other little things. And then like, even some people are like, oh, you always have to shoot at like f1.2 or whatever. Like that's not always the case,
Yeah.
Like what if someone is in a dangerous situation in a scary room and you're shooting at f1.2, you can't even see the room. Like you would have to shoot at like f8 and then show like the entire like scenario. But yeah.
That's crazy. You really are like a whole like cinematographer.
Yes, sir. I got the red, bro. I got the badge.
So if you get a red, that like solidifies you as like being I wouldn't say like you're just taking more serious on being a cinematographer.
I got the red. Look, a lot of people think that they need to buy something like this to make them feel like, oh, now I'm a filmmaker, like now it's official, like I can get any job, That's not the case. Honestly, like if I had a preference for filming, or like doing stuff, I would still prefer like my Sony A7S III or my A7 IV. And that's just because like the autofocus, the low light, it's just easier to use. There's a lot of stuff that like comes with like the red that you have to realize that it's not going to help you, because then you would have to like think about having a team for like focusing. You would have to have like a gaffer, and then like you're filming in RAW, so you have to realize that every second you record is going to be like money, because it's like if you don't have like 2 memory cards at least on that, like you're going to run out of space pretty quick. You get the freedom of like shooting in like different like types of like files and stuff on the cameras. So there's their ups and there's their downs. Honestly, I just got this so that whenever I reach out to my bigger clients, if like they say, oh well, we want it shot like on a red, okay, I have a red, and like it's just kind of more of a selling point for like when you're already at the top, like when you're like already working with like big clients. But most of the time, you can't really tell the difference. Like a lot of people think that you can. You could if you're the filmmaker.
Yeah.
But if you're the client, most of the time, if you understand lighting, composition, like using the right lens and all that stuff, it just creates such a beautiful image that it's not gonna be something that is gonna comprehend to that of the client.
Yeah, I think like as far as like the client cares, it's more optics. Like if I paid 10,000, I expect you to come with this.
Exactly.
Compared to this or this one.
Yeah,
Even though this thing can do, I can give you that same video with this, but like the only way to even open that door is by like showing them like I have this.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Honestly,
I guess like what lack of knowledge, not to. Yeah, we'll get back.
Yeah, it's all good. No, honestly, it's not the lack of knowledge, but think of it as like a child. When you show them a shiny little spoon, they're gonna want it, Like, oh, I prefer that over just like a bland like Play-Doh. It's kind of like that. Think of it like that as in the perspective of a child, When you see something shiny and you see something big, ooh, they're like, oh, I should get that. Like that looks great, And here's a true story. There was a time where because I have connections and stuff, and then these people, they were connected to a hotel in Las Vegas. I'm not gonna name them, but they were basically in the process of wanting to hire me to film their commercial that was gonna have like celebrities and all this stuff, like crazy stuff. And then when they found out that I don't have a team and that I shoot on a handheld camera, they dropped it to the second best option, just because of that. Like they literally went with the second best option because it just looks better to the company, the hotel. And it has nothing to do with like how the image might look on the scene or all that stuff. It's just more of like kind of showing that you have like this dope like equipment, all that. And I'm not saying you need equipment to do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about a hotel in like Las Vegas to film a commercial. Like that's at the top of the top, to do that kind of stuff. But like for example, I shot like the commercial with PIME.
Yeah.
And like part of the stuff that I filmed was on a Super Bowl commercial. I filmed that on my A7S III, and like I had cheap lighting. I didn't have much. That's when I barely started my company. I just got lucky by sending Logan an email, And so, like to get that on a Super Bowl commercial, you would think you need a red. You need to have like a big crew. Like honestly, it's just the people and if they trust you to do it. And like for an example, the hotel, they don't know who I am. They just saw my work. They liked it, but when they heard it's just one guy, one camera, like a few lights, they dropped the ball, and then they went with the second best option because it just looks better. So I think it's important too to kind of think about the connections that you make and the people that when it comes to this business, because I can tell you there's a lot of people who can I cuss?
Yeah, okay.
All right, bro. There's people who suck ass and filming, but then they have like all these crazy opportunities, and sometimes you'll see them posting that they're like with like celebrities, or they're filming like BTS with like artists and rappers.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, how the hell do they do it? And it has nothing to do with their skills, because obviously like it's pretty trash.
Yeah, you've seen their work.
Yeah, you've seen their work. It's pretty like terrible, especially like if you already know what you're doing and you have like this crazy portfolio. And then it's like, well, how? It's because it's just the people they know. Same thing with me. Like I got all these opportunities just because of the people I know. It like obviously like I have the skill set, so that just kind of elevates it better for me. Like there's a lot of understanding and like the basics and all that. But in terms of like the opportunities that I've gotten, like for Scream, Prime, the Super Bowl, with ZHC, and like just like crazy opportunities, it's just because of like word of mouth from people that trust me. And it's really just that simple.
Dang. Yeah, like it's crazy how seeing it more like a cinematographer, because I remember coming into, like, when I first started with Huntington Films, like, you know, it needs to be the highest quality, and, you know, like, almost like trying to be a cinematographer, even though I had no idea what it was. And then now it's like, I just film everything on my phone. But it's two different avenues. Like, you do it like the highest quality to get certain clients, and then I do it just like more like a raw feel, just to get like a different set of clients. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's weird to just see, like, damn, there's, like, with video, there's different ways and avenues to go down and still, like, make money and not even have to, you know, step on your toes. Because you, like, for the Prime Video that we can get more into, like, how you got that.
Yeah.
Like, it was well produced, and it was like product shots, and, you know, what the purpose of Prime, like, was it going to the gym, and then you can do it at your office. Like, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I could do that video, because I'm like, I would want to, like, just film it. Like, let's just film it. I don't need the lights. But not like I'm better. It's just more like I just have a different vision of it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how, like, different visions still get the job done. And it all depends on what the client likes.
Exactly.
Or like, whoever gets to that client first. Because if I showed him, for example, if I showed him my video and he liked raw footage, and then he sees yours, and it's like, that's, you know, like, oh, that's like over, not to offend you, like, that's overproduced.
Yeah, of course.
And then, so it's, I'm trying to explain it right now, because I get that with a lot of clients for social media. Like, let's make content for YouTube and social media, but I don't want to have it overproduced, because then it's going to feel like an ad or something marketing.
Yeah.
When the content that I do, it's still the marketing, but it's disguised as like, hey, we're all having fun, and it's raw.
Bro, I've lost opportunities because they want stuff that's more simple.
Really?
Yeah. I've gotten to clients, and then they're like,
what?
oh, can you film like you talking to the camera with like your iPhone and just wearing it out, and like, I don't know, something simple. And I'm just like, I don't do stuff like that. Like, that's not me. Like, that's not what I produce.
Okay.
And then they're like, okay, never mind. We don't want to work with you.
Is
like,
it because like you don't? Is it because like you refuse because of the art form, or is it just because like, if I try to do that, like, I'm not going to be good at it? Not in a bad way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're not having enough
I know
practice.
I could, especially because of my background. I came from being like a funny guy and like playing like music. I have my saxophone on the wall over there. Like, I've done that stuff, and, you know, after experiencing being behind the camera and just creating, you know, like creating stuff that you would see like on TV, but in the comfort of your home, it just made like this new way of like creating stuff. And it just kind of made me want to follow a certain path that's more of like producing, directing, filming, and like editing all these beautiful things. And like, when it comes to like the other kind of stuff, it's a lot more simpler. It's easier. Yeah, it could even be a quick cash grab for me, but that's not the purpose of my company versus it could be the purpose of your company.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and so there's always going to be a necessity for content, no matter what it is. There's always going to be a need for a commercial, but there's always going to be a need for relatability, which is something that people need to realize. So like, if all you have is your iPhone, that is the most relatable type of content you could record, because everyone has a phone. You know, not everybody has a Red, not everybody even has like a Sony, but everybody has a phone. So if you could record a really, like, you know, cool video, it's funny, or, you know, it can be creative with your phone, it's possible. It's just really how they want to approach it with you as the person behind or in front of the camera. For me, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I've done that stuff. I personally find it cringy, versus you might personally find it cringy to have it overly produced.
Yeah.
You know, we're all different people, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But that makes it better, because then, you know, if someone ever reaches out to me, again, the connections that we talked about, if they say, oh, we want to have like funny kind of TikTok videos, I could be like, I don't do that, but I do know my homie Anthony over here who can do it, you know?
Yeah.
And so then it's like the other way around, where like you've done it too, you know, like where someone wants to have like this overly produced kind of stuff and you don't want to do that, so then you can refer it to me. You know, there's always going to be a need, but never shy away from like, and this goes to like everyone, like never shy away from like trying to create content. There's always a need for it, whether it's a phone or it's like a high quality camera.
And I would always recommend for people, like, just film something, and then eventually you'll figure out like what direction do you want to go with it? Like, do you want to be more like cinematic with it? Do you want to just have it for fun? Do you want to do it to go viral? Do you want it to do it? Do you just do it for, I don't know. You end up figuring out like what lane do you want to go in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you
I
started
recommend
off
that.
with. Sorry, what were you gonna recommend?
I recommend the same thing. That's what I did. Like I went to car meets. I didn't have money to shoot commercials, so I learned by going to car meets. Like car meets are free. People just go there to hang out, and they're not gonna deny you recording them.
But before that, you started off filming yourself, right?
Yeah.
With music.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
got you enough confidence to go to the car meets, then got you enough confidence to hit Prime up, and then we'll get to. I keep
Yeah,
saying we'll get to
bro.
that, but and then what about the car meet that you were saying?
Yeah, like it taught me the fundamentals of like what it is that I wanted to do, because that the car meets could have also been a path for me being a photographer. And then like obviously I know how to do photography and sometimes I offer those services. But I didn't follow that path. Like it just went more into creating videos, and it got to the point where I was a video guy in like IE for a while for car meets. And then like one thing that I do recommend to all people, like if you want to do this for fun, do it however. But if you want to approach it more of like how we're doing it, where we're trying to do our own business, then you have to realize that you have to be a businessman or businesswoman first before you're a photographer or videographer. You cannot just hit record and like have fun with it and then not approach it in a way that's like for business, like where how can I get more engagement? How can I make it more eye-catching? What can I do that other companies are doing that, when they have their content that like blows up, what did that person who recorded that video do? And how can I approach it in my own way? Like all those little things are important, so like there's two different approaches on how you could do that too. Whether it's gonna be like for fun, and you can hit record and you just want to create content on like TikTok on your phone, like just chill whatever, like you're not really caring. But if you're even then with your phone, like if you want to care and get like views and followers and engagement, you have to follow an algorithm. You have to like see what's trending. You have to follow it in an approach that's more business minded than just, and as a creative, than just like doing it as a hobby per se.
Yeah, like something has to sacrifice where it usually ends up being, and I get told that a lot, like, and you probably hear it too, like you end up losing that passion because you're going at it like as a business. You're seeing it through like as a business, so you end up losing that passion of wanting to do it for fun.
Well, funny enough, I have the passion of entrepreneurship. So I feel like I'm having fun all the time because I my two like top things to do is being creative and then like being my own boss kind of. And so I never lost that passion. And then, I mean, a perfect example is my music. I was passionate about my music, but because I followed a certain way of doing it, where I was creating funny videos and I was doing like all the trendy stuff, I gained a lot of followers from it. I got a lot of views, but it's not what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do music covers. I wanted to be an artist, but because I followed the path of being cringy, first of all, they're not going to respect you as an artist if you're being cringy all the time.
Yeah.
And then, like, second of all, now that that hit and, like, you got the views and the follows on that, you have to keep doing that to, like, get the audience attention and to keep moving forward. So I approached it wrong when it came to that passion, and then that's where I lost my passion because I did not follow it how I should have. Instead, I did what, like, everybody else was doing, and it worked, but it's not what I wanted to do personally, and I kind of screwed myself over in that path.
Definitely, I feel the same way where like my like my account that I'm doing, I'm like I'm already over. I'm kind of getting over like all right, trying to be funny all the time. I know it works. It's easy for me. It's like it's always been easy for me like from the very beginning. And I'm like, do I want to continue to be like the funny person? It's like I want to educate. I like educating. I like helping others. So I see it as, at least for me, like I just take advantage of doing that, building an audience, and then like slowly sprinkle like educating and slowly starting to like turn it over. Because eventually, I mean, people are gonna want to learn like, well, how did you do this? How did you do that? And it's like, well, I can teach you that. But giving free advice already, like to bring them into, I wouldn't say see me as an authority, but like, hey, I trust him that he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's like, yeah, I'll pay for like one-on-one coaching kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of everywhere, man. Like I have no idea on what I want to do, like what direction I want to take it. what's working right now is just like making these videos for clients and like building the audience because that's what they want. But I know it's temporary because they say they want the views and they say they want the followers, but then it's like, okay, well, there's a point after that that each field has, whether it's videography, HVAC, college. It's like, okay, after all that stuff, like, okay, what's the next step? Like, how can we provide more value instead of just, bringing the views and the followers?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how you said, like you just have to keep doing it. Eventually, you kind of figure out what it is that you want to do, and that goes for anybody. I mean, even with me, I didn't start off thinking I was gonna create a whole like production company and I was gonna, work with like Logan Paul. Like that's not the approach that I took. It's more of just like, okay, well, I like creating. I like the process of like, taking full initiative of it. And then like I just want to work with really cool people and create really cool stuff. And then also like one of the things that like is really engraved in my mind is kind of changing the way people think about production. Because usually when you think production company, a lot of people might think, oh, it's a whole team. They have a studio. They have like marketing and like. At the point that I'm at in my career, a lot of people think that like, GOC is like a whole team of people and like I have a studio when really I just work here in my room. And then like I film in my parents' garage. I still live with my parents, like the struggle's real, bro. Like that's not gonna change. And like a lot of people think that like, oh, because I don't have a studio, I can't record. Like no, buy a backdrop, pull your car out of the garage, pull it up and start recording. That's how I did the Prime commercial. Like in my parents' garage, bro, I just pulled my parents' truck out of the garage. I grabbed some lights and I got a backdrop. And then I just let my creative mind do the rest. And it worked.
And it was the Prime video that changed your life forever, or was there something before that?
I would say what changed my life, I mean, in terms of like boosting my career, it definitely was Prime. But in terms of changing my life, honestly, it was the tragedy that I had from my spinal surgery, which we shortly had talked about privately. But when I was a musician, one of the reasons I stopped like so suddenly and I dropped out of college was because I had like a major spine surgery, and like whenever someone says like that, a midlife crisis, like that was like a full time like like crisis, bro. Like I was like shitting it. Like imagine like in one day you're chilling and then the next day you're out of like school. You don't have connections to your friends from school. You stop your passion. You lose 5,000 followers and you can't walk. And like in the snap of a finger. Like after that, like what the heck are you gonna do? And then like funny enough, I was just laying in my bed, my TV's right up here, and I just literally started looking through YouTube, like what can I do creatively? And I had a camera because I recorded myself with music, and then that's where everything changed.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. And then, so, like back to Prime, I remember you telling me like how you got Logan Paul, and it surprised the hell out of me. Like, you just emailed him?
Yeah,
you
bro.
Found an email somewhere on Facebook, and
yeah,
it just happened to be like the right one, and you got a response back
at the right time. Yeah, so I was in my room just watching YouTube, and then I saw on Impulsive, like his podcast, that like he announced about Prime, and I was like, oh, because like at that point in my career, like I already understood that I wanted to create cool videos and I wanted to work with cool people. He's a controversial person,
Yeah.
Which is like, like oh well, but it is an opportunity, and I should try to take it however I can. And then again, this is like taking initiative for yourself that a lot of people I think lack, and like they should just do it. Like honestly, like wouldn't it feel better knowing that you tried doing it and it didn't work out than thinking about like, oh, I never even tried, and you're never going to find out if it was going to work or not. Mm-hmm. So again, going back to that story, laying in bed, watching Impulsive, he announces Prime. Right away, entrepreneurship like mindset kicked in. I went onto Facebook, and the reason I went onto Facebook is because usually when people start like their social media, they go on to like Facebook like years ago, and usually it asks you to fill out your info, so your phone number, your email, or like your location. I'm sure his phone number wouldn't be on there, but I was like, maybe his email's on there. And then I just like literally searched up Logan Paul. He was right there. I went into like information, and like lo and behold, like his email was right there. And then I just literally sent him like, hey, like I'm a big fan, whatever, you know. I saw that you announced Prime, and then I went onto like their Instagram, and all they had was pictures. And I was like, I can shoot cool videos. And funny enough, like I have the Monster can here. I had shot a mock commercial in like my kitchen using a fish tank, school board posters, and Amazon lights. That is what convinced Logan Paul to film a whole commercial for Prime.
Oh, so you sent him an example
I
video?
sent him an example video of like a really cheap ass like video I shot in my like living room, but it looked highly produced just because like I kept doing it and I kept practicing and I kind of understood what I needed to make that video.
Yeah.
And so I sent him like, obviously he's selling a drink product. I'm gonna send him an example of a drink product video. And so I sent him that, and then right away he was like, he responded the next morning. I almost shit my pants, but he emailed me back, and then he was just like, yo dude, like that's a sick video. Yeah, like let's have the video happen. Like I'll send you like a bunch of cases, and we just want the video to be colorful and like it's for everybody. That's all he told me. Like a lot of people think that, you know, we storyboarded it and all that, like it just looks highly produced. Honestly, it's not. If you look at the video, like it's shot in my garage. The hand that hits the top of the cap that's in the Super Bowl commercial is my sister's hand. Okay. By the way, I didn't make any money off of this. A lot of people are like, "Wow, you didn't charge them." It's like, bro, I didn't have nothing. I can't charge someone when I have nothing. And so I just did something for free for like a multi-million-dollar company, which sounds dumb at first, but now I have a full production company with connections. It doesn't matter. And so yeah, like the people that are in the video, like keep in mind this was like, I pulled money out of my pocket. I pulled like $3,000 to make this video. It was like, it was terrible. Like I almost went to $0 to make this, you know, for Prime, and it still ended up working out, you know. But the first guy that's in the gym, close friend of mine, his name's David. And then the girl that's like drinking the orange one, that's my sister. And then the gamer, my cousin, the old man drinking it, my uncle, and the little kid is my godson. It's like all just family. And then like when they saw the video, like right away, like the manager Logan and everybody like contacted me and they said like, hey, we want to have this be an actual commercial. And then they sent me like logos of Walmart, GNC, Kroger, and then like I put that at the end, and lo and behold, I just shot a commercial for Prime, probably the very first commercial, because all they did before that was announce it like on the live stream and then on Impulsive and stuff. So, you know, I'm just a kid in like Cali living with his parents, and I just happened to shoot the very first commercial for Prime, you know, just because of an email.
How was it seeing it like on, what he showed it on the Impulsive podcast? Like here's the episode, or here's the...
They posted it on their Twitter.
Okay.
That's where they had like announced it. They ended up not putting it on Instagram, which is fine. But the thing is like part of those clips that, you know, a year later, I have Logan Paul's like editor's number. His name is Gio2. He reached out to me, and those clips was put on the Super Bowl, and I saw it on TV. Like that's where I was just like, bro. And I got paid for that. Obviously, I'm gonna get paid for that, you know. And
How
so
did that go about? You had to go to them, or they came to you first?
Bro,
They
they came to me. They obviously knew I was gonna charge, especially because I know that, I mean, they have like a big team, so they're obviously seeing like, oh, this kid's like filming commercials now, he's gonna charge money. And so we just ended up discussing a budget, and then it just got approved, and then like 2 weeks later it was on live television in front of millions and millions of people.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that Logan Paul was the one who connected you with all the other YouTubers that you started with after that?
No. So here's how I got in touch with ZHC, and then can you pass me that pillow?
This one?
Yeah. ZHC actually sent me this as a gift, so we're actually kind of friends now. But yeah, he sent me that. It's called Honey, if you want to buy one. But anyways, you know how I said like I pulled a lot of money out of my pocket?
Yeah.
So when it came to Instagram, again, just like it just feels like shit luck. But I pulled $200 out of my pocket on top of like everything that I did to produce the Prime video. And as soon as they posted it on Twitter, I posted obviously on my Instagram. And by the way, like I use a lot of my work on Instagram. Like you can create a whole business on IG. You don't need, like I have a website, but I haven't updated it in like a year. So.
But you don't get anyone from the website?
Not really.
No? At all?
It's all word of mouth, and then they just see my Instagram and they're sold, you know.
Okay.
But anyways, I pulled $200 out of my pocket, almost everything that I had left, and then I just hit boost the video on like Instagram, and then it just happened to be that like ZHC was on Instagram when it was being boosted as an ad, and then I just saw that he followed me and he liked the post, and then that's when I messaged him and I was like, hey, would you want to work together? And all that stuff. And then he's like, yeah, I love the commercial you shot for Logan. Like, obviously he knows him and they've worked together before, I'm sure. I don't know, they're big YouTubers, you know. Yeah. And then after that, that's when like everything kind of flipped over. Like, that's when it felt like officially that it was like worth doing the video for free. Because then after that, like I worked with ZHC, and then like I've been flown out to like a different state. I've like filmed like these high quality videos with a YouTuber who has 25 million subscribers. And then like I even I don't know if a lot of people know this, but like we ended up filming 2 segments that was shown in Coachella. And like now at this point, I can say I've worked with Logan Paul, I've worked with Prime, I've worked with ZHC, and I have content that was shown in Coachella between concerts, you know? And still living with my parents, bro. You don't need to have like this whole studio. You don't need to have a massive team. You just need to trust yourself and just like go for it. Cause like a lot of people even some people who may already have a production company might not even want to think about reaching out to Logan Paul, because it's like, he's not gonna read it, he's not gonna see it.
Yeah.
What if I did that? I don't think we would be talking here today if that was the case, you know?
Yeah.
And then funny enough, those bottles right there, those are the original bottles that he had sent me. Yeah, that were shot in the video too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dang. Sheesh, man, that's so crazy. Like, I don't even know where I was gonna get with that. I'm brain dead right now. I was about to ask you something and I forgot it.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's a trip how you ran that ad and there was no call to action. It wasn't like a marketing thing. It was just, I did this. Was there any like captions on the bottom, like, message me if you want a video like this?
No, I just literally put that I filmed like the very first official Prime commercial, and then I just hit boost post and like, you know, just like the original, like just like to see the page, and that's all I really did.
Did you change the caption after, or is it still the same?
I think it's still the same.
Jeez. Yeah, because that's like a perfect marketing like ad, because I still struggle like, okay, how are we going to market this? Like, do you start with, you know, call to actions in the beginning and at the end, and like how are you going to get the hook and all that? So it's like, you just did that and like just spent money on it. It just happened to be at the right place at the right time where that person's seen it. I never really watched ZHC. No offense, like I just never watched him or never really.
Bro,
cared.
I didn't know who he was when he followed me, but I saw 3 million followers and I was like, who's this guy? And then I see that he's worked with Mr. Beast. We got to talk about that too, because I turned down an opportunity to work with them.
Who, Mr. Beast?
Yeah. Well, I got in touch with them because obviously ZHC's management, they know Mr. Beast, and so I got in touch with Mr. Beast's like team for like their TikTok stuff. And one of the last questions that they asked me, like it was like over Zoom or something, or Google Meets, but they had asked me like, would you let all of this go to work over here in like, you know, North Carolina? And that's where I was just like, no. And they kind of were like surprised by that, because then it's like, you have an opportunity to work with the biggest YouTuber on planet Earth, you know, but the thing is that's not the vision for my company. Like, my vision is to create really cool stuff, but I'm in charge of it, and then I just feel like it helps businesses and people, and I like helping, and that's great, but like I also want to build my image. That's like why I have my logo and stuff. Like it's my one-man band team, like it's just me. And so when they told me about letting it go and like, you know, work for him, like a lot of people would drop everything to do that, you know. Mm-hmm. But that's just not my vision, and a lot of people might say I'm crazy or dumb for that, like, oh, you can make a lot of money and all that, but it's not about the money for me. It's more of just like what I want to do and my passion. And, you know, who's to say that like in next year I might be flown out to North Carolina and work independently as a partnership with him. Yeah. A lot of people might say that sounds crazy, but at the same time I've worked with Logan Paul and Prime, and that sounds crazy too. So honestly, like I trust my vision, and I just let go of that opportunity to just do my own thing and drop it. And I talked to the management too with the like ZHC and all that, and then they're like almost like 99% of the time like people say yes. Because when I said no, like they looked like confused, like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I'm serious, bro. I'm not gonna do that.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, well, at least for me, it would make sense just because you know, that's a sacrifice, you leaving your family, you sacrificing, dropping everything just to give your whole life to their vision, which is fine. You get paid and you do all that. But if you have your own vision, then you have to put that on hold. It depends on where you're at. Like, if you really, really needed that money, it's like, fuck, like, then maybe it's like, all right, I'll put my dreams aside just so I can help them.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you watch those videos, you see them, they're there for 7 days filming. And that's if they're filming 7 days. And the videographers are there filming 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then the editing, it's another, 2-3 months after that, or however long it is. So it's like, it's more than just, you know, you would think it's a dream job, but unless if you're really like wanting to be dedicated on just filming for Mr. Beast and his videographer for the rest of his life, then it's like perfect. That's like the best opportunity. But if it's like, you know, I'm just doing this so I can, you know, build a business, and it might not have been like the smartest thing to do by going. So I don't think you're crazy at all.
Thanks.
That's
I know
crazy.
I'm crazy.
People like think that. Well, usually the people who think like that are just the people who don't really know they don't really know the sacrifices and the rewards because of those sacrifices.
Oh, there's a lot of sacrifices, bro.
It's usually like, and not even saying usually, it ends up stemming from, and I hate saying this because I know a lot of people say it, but it stems from like working at a job where like you're, like, I only put the hours that I have to do it. You know, compared to like, if I go extra, no, I'm not going to get rewarded for it. So why am I going to go extra? Where this right here, the more extra you go, the more you benefit from it.
Yeah, bro. I was working in a camera store as a salesperson, and I used to go to the car meets after work. And I'm not going to get paid for it. I'm not going to get rewarded. You know, they expect like free pictures, free videos. And that's something that I had knowledge of when I went there. But you have to realize, like, I worked at a full 8-hour shift, and I still decided to work an extra 3 to 4 hours just to go record footage that I'm not going to be paid for. And, like, it sounds dumb, but then think about it this way. A few months later, I went to an event in Vegas, again, pulled money out of my pocket to stay at a hotel and, like, pay for the event to go to. And then I had two, like, goals in mind, which was create one of the best videos they've ever seen and deliver it before their main videographer does.
Oh yeah, I remember you said that.
Yeah, and so keep in mind that this is like one of the biggest like events for cars, and they're doing it in Vegas.
What was it, Stema?
No, it's not that. It's from, oh man, I don't even remember them, bro. Like, as soon as that happened, I got out of the car scene, which I'll explain why. Let me see if I can find it in a bit. But while I'm finding it, the reason that I had those two things in mind is because it kind of boosts like the chances of like your work being shown by them. And so it worked. I went there, paid money out of my pocket to stay in a hotel. I filmed the event, like, you know, like I was carrying a heavy rig, not getting paid a single dollar for it. And I still do stuff like that to this day. Till this day, like, even if you think I have a successful company, like, I still take initiative to sometimes maybe offer something that will have a big benefit back to you. And that's something that, you know, it's just part of the risk, you know, and I'll explain another opportunity that happened just recently.
I remember reading you talking about that, you know, we do it. It's usually like, not because we see like, what is it? It's not really like we're thinking like ulterior motives, like I'm gonna do this for free because it's gonna come back to me. It's usually like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna hook you up. And it's also
Elite
eventually,
Tuner.
What?
That's the one.
Elite Tuner? I don't even know.
400,000 followers though. It's pretty big.
Damn. Yeah, I'm not really a car person, so I have no idea except for SEMA, but that's just because, even if I'm pronouncing it right, that's just because it was like a month ago. But it's like not having ulterior motives, you know, like usually benefits you because people can usually tell like, all right, you're only hooking me up because you want something later. So either I'm going to take advantage of you before you take advantage of me, or I'm just not going to work with you because I don't want to have that hovering over me.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I took up on your opportunity, now I owe you, or you're coming at me like I owe you.
Yeah.
You know? And people feel it. Especially like people, they definitely feel it. They might not express it to you, but they feel it.
Yeah, like if you're expecting return because of what you're doing, it may not happen. You have to do it out of, like, honestly, the kindness of your heart. You have to realize that it's because of the passion that you have to create. Because if you're doing it for monetary reasons, if you're doing it because of like the wrong reasons, like if you do this, you will get rewarded for it. You're not gonna get too far. I've gotten far because I've offered a lot to myself. Like, you think PIME I should have charged, right? But I didn't. And then, like, again, another example is the car thing. I went there, I paid money out of pocket at a hotel, like I filmed for free. And even though like it was a pretty big sacrifice to do all that stuff, guess what? They posted it like a few days later, because I literally from Vegas, like as soon as the event ended, I went to the room, started editing for like a day and a half straight, like no sleep. And then I delivered it to them, and then it was up on their page. So it was successful. A lot of pages might have like their email, or I just send a DM and I'm like, hey, like here's a video. Or sometimes I just post it and then I tag them, and then usually like they might see it. There's little things like that.
How do you go about that, like posting it before like they post any work? Like, okay, well, it's like, well, we wanted that on our page first, or they don't think like that, or like
it's all strategy. I'll tell you, I guess my most recent like tactic to do that. Have you heard of Dos Hombres? So
I remember what you had told me.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Dos Hombres is a mezcal company, and it's run by the guys from Breaking Bad. You know, like Jesse Pinkman and like Walter White, the actors. Well, that's not their names, but that's what they're like portraying. And I was like, okay, it would be cool to work with these people. Like, I've already worked with famous people before, so why not do it again? And with this approach, it was different. Ziyun needed a video done for one of their lights, their M20Cs, and then
That's
they.
not that one?
No, it's not that one. It's right here. It's one of these little guys. Here you go. But it was like one of their M20Cs, and
That's Magna. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Is that the first?
I don't know, but
that's pretty cool.
It's pretty fire. But they were like, "Can you?" And then, funny enough, like again, I don't really create on these kind of videos, but they asked me, "Can you do like a BTS video of you using the light and then having it being shown like in a cool video?" And then again, you have to be very strategic about how you're gonna approach these things, especially if you're just creating like commercials. And so the strategy that I followed. The strategy that I followed was, okay, like I'll do it. Right away, my brain went to wanting to do Dos Hombres because I've DM'd them before. I've gotten their attention. And so I was like, okay, like they say like they'll reach out, you know, in the future. And a lot of people say that, bro. Like, yeah, we'll reach out. We'll reach out. And then nothing, you know? And so like with me, I was like, oh no, I'm going to make sure they freaking reach out to me, you know? Like I'm going to make sure like they want to work with me. So when Ziyun sent me the units, I already knew I was gonna film the video with Dos Hombres, and so my strategy was, I'm gonna film the video for Ziyun, but I'm gonna make sure that Dos Hombres sees this video, and I'm gonna make a separate file, make them a little commercial and ad that they can use for free. I did not charge, because again, I'm kind of like not expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
And so I made the video for Ziyun. They loved it, by the way. And then Dos Hombres did notice, because one of the things that I do also check out is there's usually a certain time when people are active and there's a little green bubble. You know, take advantage of that little green bubble. Like they're usually active like around, let's say, noon.
You're talking about Instagram?
Yes.
Okay.
And usually let's say you look for like 2 or 3 days in a row and it's always active around 12 to 2 p.m. Posted around 12 to 2 p.m. They're going to be active on the page. And so I posted the video around 12 and then I tagged them and then I put them on the story, which notifies them even more. Because usually a lot of companies and brands see like what's posted on the story. It's actually worked a lot. So
Oh yeah, the stories. Yeah,
the stories, like it notifies the person on their phone.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes when you do a post, it might not, but a story will. And so after I did all of that, they liked it. They commented and that they loved the video. And I also posted it twice. So I posted the Ziyun one and then I just posted the Dos Hombres one, because I wanted it to be for Ziyun and then the other one just for Dos Hombres.
Yeah.
Ziyun didn't say I couldn't do that, so I took advantage of that. And then 24 hours later, there's this guy that's followed by Bryan Cranston and the guy that plays like Jesse Pinkman, and he follows me. We DM, and then he's like, "We're gonna get in touch with you soon. Like, we want to have like a commercial shot or something or an event." They're asked where I'm based from, and then I sent them the video for free on Drive. It's gonna be posted like within the next 2 to 3 weeks now.
On like.
On their page.
Oh shit.
The one I shot. Yeah.
And that wasn't even through emails. That was just like through
Instagram.
DM.
DM and posting.
So strategically posting it.
Yeah.
That's the one problem I have is like trying to get a hold of these marketing directors. But I think I just been approaching it wrong by like trying to get to them and talk to them. Like, hey, I can do this for you, instead of like showing like, here's what it is. So I just been working backwards.
It depends how you approach it. Like if you want to seem, cordial and you want to, not press too hard, DM and email is fine. But like, let's say it's somebody like a company that you really want to get their attention, but you also don't want to annoy the shit out of them, then, DM and email, and then think about a certain way how you could grab their attention, you know?
Yeah.
Like what I did with Dos Hombres, like I got their attention through DM and email, but it was just more of like, yeah, we'll reach out. But now that I did something that I proved I was going to do for them in the future regardless, now they're like, oh, we need to work soon, like we're going to have to do something.
Yeah.
So like who knows, now I might film an event in LA where I might meet the actors from Breaking Bad, or I might shoot an actual commercial that I'll get paid for them,
And that's content. Well, I mean, you don't post content like that, like I'm filming for this, or like here's the event I'm at.
Not really. And then that's also like, you have to realize the approach that I took for what I'm doing is one of the hardest approaches, because I'm not talking to a camera. I'm not doing anything. I'm just posting commercials.
Yeah, your work is like selling itself instead of you having to sell yourself.
Yeah. And then another thing I want to like talk about is YouTube. A lot of people might be like, oh, why don't you do YouTube? And no offense to YouTubers, but I don't want to be a salesperson again.
I get you.
When you're on YouTube, in order for you to make money, besides like like the AdSense from like Google or YouTube, you have to talk about sponsorships, or you have to sell a product. Guess what you're doing? You're selling. You're a salesperson. I don't want to be a salesperson. I want to film the product for that person that they could sell. I would prefer doing that over just talking about it and not really doing anything that cool just to make a quick buck. That's not the approach that I want to do. But no offense to anybody. Some people want to be YouTubers. They want to be in front of the camera. They want to talk. They need to make extra money. Talk about a product real quick and then keep doing what you love doing. That's fine. That's not my approach though. Like my approach is I want to create content for like the biggest brands on earth and like with the most famous people, all through just me. Like there's no like fine line between like having to follow like a guideline of like you need to talk about this for 60 seconds or you need to do that, or it's just more of like, oh, let's create a mood board or a storyboard and then you take creative control and you do your thing. And like I've been blessed enough that like the hustle that I've been putting in, that now I can.
I think that's like the only way. I wouldn't say that's the only. A lot of people are marketing, or a lot of people are teaching, like that's the only way to market your business, by putting your face out there, and that's how you need to be doing it.
It's not
That's
true.
how you need to be. That's how it needs to be done. Like Gary Vee just preaches, like you need to put yourself out there. You need to sell yourself. And lately, I've just been thinking, I'm like, that's the kind of marketing we're going to. Like it's personal brands that we're trying to sell, and then whatever we're attached to, whether it's videography now, like okay, let's sell videography products, or where like old school branding is like the product sells itself. And that's what you're pretty much doing. Like your work speaks for itself, and you're still like getting these attentions, what we're trying to do by trying to sell and be in front of the camera, which is pros and cons, because yeah, depends on how you see it. Like it's cool getting the attention, but that means now more people know you. So let's say if they see you on the street, you're like, do I want to put myself and my family out there where people know who I am? Like I'm not trying to be an ace family by here's my whole family, here's my life. Like I like to be as private as I can be.
Yeah.
I've just only assumed like, well, this is the only way I can make money, by putting myself out there, because no one else is going to do it, instead of just letting my work show for it. So you inspired me right now by like, I don't have to be in front of the camera all the time to.
It's all strategy. Like what I said, you have to know. It's you're obviously gonna have to like practice and like work on it, but it's all just like through time you kind of figure out how to approach certain things. And for me, I figured out a way to approach it where I don't need to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I don't need to do any of that stuff. I can just go grab a coffee with someone that's in charge of marketing and just chat it out. And then actually, I'm gonna do that next week with one of the producers for Jesser, which is he just won like a Streamy for like the best sports content in YouTube. You know,
Hell
and
yeah.
again, that's just because I knew ZHC, just how I knew Logan Paul to ZHC. Now it's from ZHC to Jesser. It's all just like domino effect, you know. But you don't have to be in front of the camera to do it. But it's strategy you have to learn. And one of the things that I was afraid about too was like copying the style of like somebody.
Yeah.
And so what I ended up doing is I did do that. I did copy a lot of styles from different like people because I'm self-taught. I just learned off of YouTube. I didn't go to school for any of this. But what I ended up doing was I just watched at the time, like, you know, coffee B-rolls. That was like the thing. And then like Peter McKinnon, Daniel Schiffer was like popping off at the time. And then just like that kind of stuff. And then I literally would watch it, learn how to do what they were doing, like almost replicate it to a T.
Yeah.
And then throughout time, my brain just understood how to create cool stuff because I already did all that practice. And eventually I started to make my own style just through practice and like, you know, continuously doing it. So don't be afraid to essentially like copy someone. Don't, like, if I was to shoot a Dos Hombres like video, I'm not gonna copy someone right now. Like, I already have my own style. I'm saying like, don't be afraid to learn like someone else's style. Obviously, don't do it exactly like how they're doing it, because then how are you going to become the best version of yourself when you're just the second best version of that other person?
Yeah.
So learn from others, learn from what's trending, like just practice, and eventually your brain is going to already just understand how to light certain things, how you should compose, how you should do this and that, and instead you're just going to like start seeing it more outside of the box, and then that's when you start creating your own certain style.
Shit. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, now you have me whole like rewiring my brain, bro, like how to market and make content going forward.
Bro, there's a lot of ways. I mean, you know, whether I'm going to car meets to go talk to people and hand out business cards, or whether I'm like sending emails, DMs, I'm posting on purpose, or, you know, I literally just go out there and talk to people and like events and like going to like things like I went to NAB. The people that I used to watch on YouTube that I learned when I was recovering in my bed, now they're my friends. Why? Because I went to NAB, I introduced myself to them and I told them how they were inspiration to me. And then when I told them I've been on the Super Bowl, they're like, bro, you're doing better shit than I am when I'm just on YouTube. And 2 days later, I was in a private event with Corner Blue with like all these YouTubers. It's just like you do have to have confidence in yourself to talk to others and approach. That's something that, again, is through practice. So why not practice doing it locally? So like going to a coffee shop or going to like a mom and pop shop, going to car meets, you know, like little things like that, just to kind of break that ice. And then once you get comfortable and you understand how you should talk to people, then maybe start branching out to Instagram and then like companies. Now you know how to talk to people from there. Now just use that technique into that. And the more practice you get, the better you're going to get, which means you're going to get more in return of like people saying yes, instead of saying like, oh yeah, we should think about it, we'll talk to you soon, and then it's just nothing.
Yep. Fuck, man. Is there, before we wrap it up, like what advice would you want to give to either content creators or like young videographers that want to get into, that look at this, that they have this camera or something less than this, that they're like, I want to start my journey in cinematography or videography? What advice would you give to them?
Some of the things that I would say, I mean, the entire video is a lot of advice already on its own. But honestly, one of the things I always tell myself is some of the most successful people are the ones who fail the most, which is true. The only reason that, you know, a lot of people think I'm lucky is because I just post like all the commercials I do. But you have to realize that there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes where I fail. You know, like I might have done something wrong, or maybe I didn't format the SD card. Just little things like that too, you know. And then now I don't have an SD card, so I can't record. Like, you know, just shit like that. But
And you have previous work that you haven't transferred in that SD card, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, bro. And then like one time, like I shot a commercial recently with the red. Keep in mind the red. This was a few weeks ago. I forgot to format the card, and then I just realized that I just like recorded halfway, and I had to like, you know, pull out another card. Like, oh, it was stressful.
Damn.
But anyways, back to the advice. Just realize that a lot of people fail before they succeed. So don't be afraid to, you know, try something out. And if it doesn't work out, don't be so harsh on yourself. Take it as a lesson. Everything is a lesson when you fail, and that's still a win in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you're still winning because you're winning knowledge, and knowledge is the pathway to success regardless. So really, you're still gonna succeed somehow, and you have to be consistent. Don't be on and off with it. And then one of the other things that I always tell myself, and it's important for everybody to always think, if you don't do it, somebody else will.
Yeah.
Same thing. That's what I told myself with the Logan Paul thing. If I don't email him and I don't reach out to shoot that first PIME commercial for them, somebody else is going to do it eventually. But I was the guy to do that. Just because I had the confidence to do it, even though I had nothing in my portfolio but like a cheap video that I shot in my parents' kitchen, you know? So, you know, like people always fail, but eventually they will succeed. And then the other one is like, damn, bro. I'm going crazy. Like I'm like talking way too much.
It's the monster.
It's a monster, bro. You will lose a lot of sleep if you do this path. Keep that in mind. So, yeah. But yeah, the failure can be turned into success as it's turned into a lesson. And then if somebody else, if you don't do it, somebody else will. And then consistency is key. Other than that, it's just having the confidence in yourself to do it.
And having fun. That's the main thing, having fun. As soon as you stop having fun, then it's like, fuck, now I have to do this. Which you think like, well, I'm good enough to continue to do it without being happy. But your work will start showing like, it's not in there. That person doesn't have it anymore. And why do I want to continue to hire that person? Exactly. And then you end up losing clients. Your work's not performing good. And then, you know, you're just going to hate it.
Yeah, bro. Always have fun with it. I have fun with it up until this day. I shit you not, this is actually a true story. I'm not going to say which event it was, but I filmed an event. By the way, they loved it. The video came out awesome, but they were offering free drinks. And I literally was buzzed, like, filming the entire event for 4 days straight. Like, I was drinking every day that I was there. Like, they had a bar. Everybody was drinking. I was like, you know what? I'm going to drink and I'm going to film. I had fun with it. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying that. So. I hope not. But, I mean, at the same time, like, I had confidence in myself to know that I would do it. But, you know, I drank.